Welcome back everybody to the adventures of DeRemer. When I go out on an adventure, I like to be as prepared as I possibly can, so I take most of my camera gear with me. I don't carry it around on the trails and stuff. I just carry the camera and the tripod and the microphone, but I do have my camera bag with me in case I want to use something else. I keep my fisheyes in there, I keep my GoPro in there, some different mounts, my tripod, and I thought I would do a video and just kind of go over that. I'm actually filming the video with my LG Stylo 2 cell phone, just so that way I could have everything in my bag the way it is when I go out on an adventure. So let's get started. So the bag itself is a AccuVar. I believe I got it on eBay, and I really wanted a backpack so that way if I did want to carry everything with me, I could just throw it on my back and not worry about it. It's been a pretty good bag. It's got some nice cushion to it. It's got the padded back, the padded arms. It has a little waist buckle to go around too to help you secure it. So the first thing you notice is I have the tripod hooked to the side there. It's just a cheap tripod. I bought it at Walmart years ago, but it's been great. One of my favorite features, it has the quick disconnect, and it also has a level, but my camera has a built-in level too, but this is nice just before you set the camera on. So then in the outer pocket is where I keep all my lighting. A whole bunch of stuff in here. So I have, these are just the chargers for my light. I have, what kind is this? The Best Light LED video light. It actually uses a camera battery, but it lights up. This thing goes bright. When I use this for videos indoors, I usually have it on the lowest setting and it's blinding, and that's kind of why I wear the sunglasses, just so it's not blinding me as I look into the camera. It has some different filters you could put over the actual LEDs and diffusers to spread the light out. I'll actually set up my camera the way I film inside later to show you how all this stuff goes together. But I have the bracket, which this hooks to the tripod. I put my microphone on here, and then this hooks to the hot mount on top of the camera, and then my light sits up there, so the light is centered. Like I said, I'll go over that. I'll set up the camera and show you how I normally set it up. For inside and when I'm out shooting videos. In this pocket, for my GoPro, I have a clamp mount, and I love these things. You could clamp them anywhere, and you could bend the camera at any angle. These are probably one of my favorite GoPro mounts, especially when I used to do mountain biking videos and stuff like that. I would just clip them onto limbs, and you could set up the camera at all different angles, and they open pretty wide. These aren't official GoPro ones, they're just off eBay, but they've worked great. And they're pretty cheap, so every time I break them, I buy another one. You could actually see this one of the GoPro mounts is broken off. I don't know if you can see it on the camera. So what I did was I just Gorilla Glued it on, and it's been holding up great. Now when I'm filming BMX and skateboarding, I have this. It's the Opteka X Grip, and this is phenomenal as a stabilizer for BMX and skateboarding. And what I like is it has the mount up here, so I could hook my microphone, still have that hooked up. The camera sits down here, and you can adjust it. The base kind of adjusts there, that way, and it's really big, so you could sit it. You have a lot of places you could put your hands if you want to film like that. I also like that it has these on the bottom. It sounds stupid, but I had another one, and it didn't have rails on the bottom, so you could never just, sit it down. It would always fall over, and it was annoying. But this one's really cool. I like the blue. Blue's my favorite color, so I had to get that. Yeah, this thing's been great, and I would highly recommend one of these if you film BMX, skateboarding, or just want kind of a low angle, like stabilized, because you could just kind of hold it, and I kind of hold it loose, so that way it could move, you know, freely, and stay. Like, 'cause if you hold it real tight, it's gonna get every little shake, every little bump, whatever, you're gonna see it. So if you hold it a little bit loose, it kind of gives it some cushion. Or some free play. It gives it some free play. Alright, now into this pocket. This has got a lot of crap in it. So in this pocket I actually have, I bought a cleaning kit for my camera. I'm not going to take it out, but it's got cleaning cloths, stuff to dust off the lens, sprays, all sorts of stuff like that. I keep all that in this pocket. In this pocket, it's all just, I have my camera strap, I have my cables, hook my my cameras to the computer. I have, looks like a pair of headphones I've never even used. But that's essentially all that's in there, just kind of miscellaneous random little things. So now this is the main compartment of the bag. And this is where, in this little pocket, I keep just stuff that's I want to be able to get to quick. It has just a little cloth to clean. It has the bubbles so you could spray dust off. This one I can brush, and it also sprays, like, it blows there to dust things off. Just some of the stuff that came with the cleaning kit, just to do the camera quick. This pocket, I keep my GoPro. It's a GoPro Hero. Fits perfectly in there. I use that for kayaking, fishing, stuff like that. In this pocket I have my Rokinon 7.5mm fisheye lens. I did a review of this a while back. I haven't used it much. I bought it, and I haven't been bike riding or, you know, filming skateboarding or anything lately. I'm going to use it again soon though. The weather down here in Florida was really weird. It went from really hot to really cold. We didn't get that in between, and that in between is what I was really looking forward to. Just the kind of the nice weather, but, you know, not too hot, not too cold, just enjoyable. But now it's starting to warm up a little bit, so I'll be going out again. This is just my kit lens in this pocket. It's just all folded up now. I mean, goes together like that. And I always keep them, take the lens and stuff off my camera when I put it in the bag, because I'm afraid that if I put the camera in here and everything's together, if it gets bumped and that lens, you know, twists or something, it's gonna break the camera. I don't know if it happens, but it's something that I've been afraid of, so I always take everything off. I always disconnect everything, put it in its separate pockets, and just makes me feel better that it's not going to break. In here I have a charger. It's actually for my GoPro. This is pretty cool. I wish I used this more, but I haven't. It's a little egg timer actually from IKEA, and what you do is if you're doing a time lapse with a GoPro, you turn the top of it and it'll just kind of circle around real slow, like for whatever time you put. So this is really cool, and it just sits anywhere. You can just set it down and it'll just kind of pan. You could do it that way. You could pan up and down as you're taking pictures and doing a time lapse, and it just looks really, really cool. In this pocket I also have just some miscellaneous GoPro stuff. I have some of the screws that hook to the mounts. I have the closed-in back door for the GoPro. I like to keep stuff that I use the most in this bag. The rest of it I kind of just put throughout the bag. In this pocket I have my Rode Videomic Go. I have the dead cat on it. These make a big, big difference. And when you're shooting outside, just in diffusing the wind, definitely worth it to get one. They look weird, but they work. And I just have my cable underneath it. In this pocket I have my Panasonic Lumix G7, and I love this camera. Finally I found a camera that had everything that I want. The video quality, the 4K video, even the 1080p at 30 frames or 60 frames looks phenomenal. And it also has the flip out screen. You could do, so if I'm filming myself, you could flip it out, you could flip it up. I've even had it, sitting on a tripod and say I'm sitting, to the side of it, and I could flip the screen out right there and see it. I absolutely love this. Now inside of my camera I'm running a SanDisk Class 10 Ultra Plus. It's a 64 gigabyte card. I always like to make sure I have more than enough. I could probably get away with a 32 gig card or something like that. I always like to have more. I don't want to run out when I'm out somewhere. And I don't always have like a computer handy to take the footage off the SD card. So I got a 64 gig. I'll probably end up getting another SD card just to have as a backup just in case. We're going on vacation later on in the year, and I'm not really going to have a computer to take anything off of, so I'll probably get like another 64 gig or something just to have, just in case I fill one up, I can just keep going, and when I get home I'll throw everything on the computer. It just has the battery slot underneath, and that's essentially it. This camera has the micro 4/3 sensor and mount in it. There's a decent amount of lenses for it, but this camera is phenomenal. Maybe one day I'll do a full review of this, but I love this camera. I really do. In this pocket I have, this is just my battery charger for my camera. Just folds out, plugs into the wall. Not much to it. And this one I have, it's not an official GorillaPod, it's just kind of a knockoff. But this is probably the tripod I use the most. It works great, like if I'm on the trail, it's not too big. You could bend it in any way, so if you have to set it on a rock or on a flat surface, or you can hook it to branches, but I don't trust it holding the camera. Or you could just hold it. I mean, you could hold it out, you could bend it. It's great. These are, $10 on eBay, I believe. And that is essentially it. On this side I just have a couple more GoPro mounts. Now I also have, it's not easily accessible, it's packed on my shelf. I usually take, it's an old gun case that I used to use and put all my GoPro and camera and stuff in there. But since I got the bag, I put all my camera stuff in here, and I just take that with me, and that just has GoPro mounts, tons of GoPro mounts, chest mounts, head mounts, floaty mounts. It's got everything. I just take that with me if I'm going to be using the GoPro a lot. Next I'll set up my camera and I'll show you kind of the rig, what it looks like when I'm out on an adventure, and then what it looks like if I'm filming at home. So most of the time this is how I have it set up right here. When I'm going around the trails, when I'm filming different areas, I just have the GorillaPod mount. I have my Videomic on top, just the standard kit lens, and this is it. I mean, it's kind of a big setup, but it's not really that bad. The camera's pretty light, the lens is light, but it's nice because you can just set it up anywhere. The camera has a leveling system in it, which I love. So that way I know if it's steady. Not only does it do the side to side, if you're level, but it also does up and down, and it'll tell you when it's perfectly level both ways. I really, really like that. This is the typical setup I use. So here's my setup. Ooh, I think it's loose. So here's my setup when I'm filming at home. If I'm doing videos, and this whole thing will sit on top of the tripod, but I like to have, the reason I did it this way is the microphone, it's directional in front of it. So it can be set off to the side a little bit and not make a huge difference. Now as far as the lighting, I wanted that centered, and it sucks because it is right in your face when you're talking, but that way it's lighting you up and it's not giving as much shadows all over the place. So I have the bracket, just goes on the bottom. It's a little bit loose. but then the microphone sits off to the side. Everything's kind of loose, I just threw it together to show you. And then the light's on top. And this light, it is bright. I usually run it pretty low, but it's still really bright. And that's the setup. And then I have the screen is usually facing me, and it just sits on top of my tripod. And that's my home setup. And finally I have, this is my setup for skateboarding and BMX. I have, I'll usually, I'll have the fisheye on, and I'll have the microphone up here. Just a couple tips, what you really have to watch for when you set up like this camera and this lens. This lens is very, very wide. So that's the reason I have to put the camera up so far, because if I put it back, this is going to show up in the picture, and so is this. And that's the reason I run it up front, the camera up so far. Now you could hold it up here and just kind of do a down low looking up shot. You could hold it like that. There's possibilities are endless with this setup right here. The X grip is very sturdy, holds everything good. I like how I could have the screen out to the side, to film like so. If I'm filming looking up, you could have the screen, you could change the angle of it, and that's very helpful. This setup works good. It has the microphone, it is directional, but it picks up pretty far, I feel like. And with the fisheye, since you could get closer and have a wider shot and still get everything in frame, it actually benefits your audio as well, because this will be closer to the action and you could get the sound with it. So that's pretty much it. Those are my setups that I use. My bag, what I have in my bag. And I hope you enjoyed this video. I think I'm going to do a full review one day of my camera and show that. I've done some reviews on my other cameras, but I haven't done my new one, my favorite one, which is kind of weird. But I'll save that one for another day. I hope this helped you. Maybe learn a couple things, just see what I have, and maybe get some ideas on what to buy or what would help you with your adventures or videos. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next adventure.